Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, everybody. Well, geez, we come in and what's the first thing that happens is some selling. Ooh, I like where we are at. Oh, I love this. I just loaded things up as I was giving you the disclaimer. I'm just going to take that seriously. So here's the deal. Here's what I'm thinking right now before I even look at the chart is that yesterday we had like the biggest equities rally in like several years. I think it was like since 2008. And Treasuries barely moved at all. And we moved up to where we are on fears of a trade war. And now that these trade war fears are easing, we haven't come back to where we should be. I believe that we should be back to where the FOMC price was, which is quite far down there. So now let's pull the chart over and look. The overnight, we stayed mostly at the VWAP and we're quite a bit above the VWAP. And now we've had a block sell order here before the market opens. I think this is a good, yeah. I don't take very many of these reversal trades, but I really want to reverse here. The problem is there's no way I'm going to get filled there. Well, not no way, but at the moment, I don't think I'm going to get filled. Let's pull the volume profiles over. Here you can see pretty good move up. To check some news and headlines, and I think we do have some news. Consumer confidence today. CNBC. Stocks set to rally a second day after the Dow soars more than 650 points. That's not the biggest move ever yet. Well, it's pretty good though. Trump's approval rating dips amid opposition to tariffs and little change from tax cuts, survey says. I wouldn't read, there are moments when it's time to look and when it's not. And I think that right now, survey is probably a little early. I would be much more interested in seeing a survey like Wednesday or Thursday, bring in all of this gun control and the aftermath of that in and see how people feel. Kind of interesting. So let me close this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's where we're at in treasuries. In bitcoins, there was an attempt to move back up above 8,000 yesterday, and they kind of pushed us back down. So I don't know if we're in a good spot there or not, but yeah. Yeah. So another thing to point out is that we closed at the low of the session and overnight made some runs, but they didn't get very far. And let's grab the links here while we're all waiting. Kind of interesting. We get a block sell event and it goes quiet afterwards. Okay. Got filled. Okay, so we got to be careful here because we are getting some buying in the 5-year. We go. Through here. I'm just gonna have to jump out. Well, that's actually a pretty strong bid there. Good morning, Dan. I don't know. That's a lot of people selling there at 17. Lots of absorption. That's not good. Definitely a lure. Okay, so that's not necessarily a good sign. But it's not a ton, so I'm not spreading it too much. Yeah. They might pull this again and pull that 17 and tick down. Let's see. Because they're having trouble here in ZF. Nope, pretty tough week for Bitcoin. Last CBOE trade day on the 29th and then settlements on April 4th. Jeez. Yeah, so Wednesday is when they flip over, right? But I think it could be like last time. Like last time, the switchover day was a pretty good buy, wasn't it? But then it just kind of faded. I don't know. It really feels like interest has just gone. Like when you look at our Discord channel, jeez, and I just missed my exit. I was thinking about clicking there, and I just... Anyways, like, not much in our Discord channel. Crypto subreddits aren't really that active. It's just died. I don't see any reason for Bitcoin to really pick up anytime soon. You know, a lot of people were banking on like, oh, there will just be like the usual downturn at the beginning of the year, and then by April, May, we can be like roaring again and stuff, but I don't know. It's starting to look bleak. Okay. Like it. So there was a lure here at 16.5 last time. Let's see what happens this time if they hit it. Lots of games here. That's for sure.
Alligator said biggest event this week is GDP release tomorrow. Consolidation after last week is modest, so overall the range should be preserved until tomorrow IMO. Down trend line from Fridays.
Yep, there's my stop. What did it give me? 4. Ouch. Okay, well there's a 20.5, and I'm just gonna sit here. And so I mean, we did have a block order in our favor, and it is kind of fighting here. So I don't feel like the theory is invalidated. I think the trade was, obviously, but I mean, this guy could still be holding on there, you know? It just means that there's definitely two sides to this market, at the very least. And maybe my guy still wins, but we need to stay out until we see that. Seem like bulls are putting on pretty strong pressure there. Yeah. When we tick down to the 16 or whatever, should have definitely have gotten out. So I really screwed that one up. Need to get better at getting out of the losers here, because I have way too many of these that stop to 4 ticks. Not even in April. Well, I mean, it could still happen, but I kind of feel like the chart just isn't set up for a run, through April and May. I just, you know, and I think that what's going to happen is, if I can bring this over here, it's just not. I mean, this is something that can easily go lower. I like that we found support and bounced up here after the 73. I like that even here we've had a couple of, relatively scary sells, but nothing too dramatic. So I do like support here, but I just don't see this like, where we go back up to 1200 and then what? Like everybody's gonna sell. I'm really eyeing 1200 and thinking, hey, I could sell there. So I don't know. I just don't feel like the base is there. I feel like it's just gonna like go nowhere through the summer. Is how I feel. But I am conflicted still a little bit because my indicator says, hey.
Alligator said today I'm expecting ZN 1020-22 IMO, bull steepening, not great. Seems going RN.
Indicator says that we're overbought, or we were overbought yesterday at 9, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. So, even though it looks like we have a lot of support here, so that just says to me that there's way too many bag holders right now that are going to get bored. And we're not seeing new people coming in. There's no reason to be long right now. Other than, for me, I have a bunch of altcoins and they haven't done what they're supposed to do, and I don't know. Let's look at Bitcoin Cash. What do you think about the stock market? Apparently, the smart money are leaving the stock market. Maybe they'll move to crypto. No, there's no way they're going to move to crypto. Like, if you are risk averse and you're afraid and you're taking money out of the stock market, why are you going to take it out of the stock market and put it in an even more risky asset? There's no way. They're going to move. They're going to move to, commodities that they feel are safe, like gold and treasuries. It's always what they do. This is Bitcoin Cash. Yeah. See, look at Bitcoin Cash. Like, it feels like they're just building like this long base here, and they can't make a new low, and it kind of feels like maybe they should go up. But then I look at it and I'm like, why would it go up? And then all of a sudden I see it as, oh yeah, but then we take another step down lower, and the chart looks very different. So see here, we had one buy event that correlated with this one here, and that pushed us up. And since then, it's kind of been back and forth, and there's been a lot of volume trading here. I think that Alligator might be right about it being super range bound. Use 10 to 20. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see if they get there. I'm a little skeptical just because of how much is fighting it right now. Anyways, let's look at the other one, Ethereum. Okay, so now Ethereum, it has been kind of looking like it could double bottom. Oh, but then the past overnight, yeah, I don't like it, guys. Ethereum don't look so great. Yeah. Oh, yeah, so Tucker was asking about, because I was said yesterday, oh, I was right, but I wasn't paid from it. I'm not saying that if I had been able to trade longer, that I would have made a profit on the day or anything like that, or that there was even like a scalp in it. I'm just saying, like, my long-term view right now is that we are too high in treasuries. There should have been a move down and we didn't get it. And yeah, we kind of got this peak thing. When we were moving up, I was like, I don't like it. And then sure enough, it just, the rest of the day it just faded down. So like I was right that was a down day overall, but like you can make money off of it. Now are we going to see the same thing today? I don't know. I think we could get up to that 20 that Alligator's talking about. And then, you look at how much fight it's giving you here, it's probably going to be twice as bad up at 20.
Block sell.
And look, these guys are still selling it. There is at least one big fish out there that seems to think the same way I am. But is he actually ever going to win? Look, they're pushing it against him again. 17 was where he took it. Where was the last one? Oh, there's been so many since then. How's our cryptocurrency portfolio doing, by the way? Down $25 this week or so. Hey, I actually made money on Verge. What the heck? Well. That was a good move up there. The risk-reward ratio in Verge is really good. Like, I know that Verge is like super toxic right now, but I actually like a speculative investment in it right now, just based off of the valuation. I have a feeling that Bitcoin at 8K is not looking as good a buy for smart money. I wonder how low does it have to be for them to step in?
IQ set GM.
I don't know. The thing is, I don't think that they're sitting there eyeing it right now. I think that they're going, oh, the bull run is over. There's no reason for me to pay attention to it. So I don't think that we should be looking for some whale to step in and save the cryptocurrency market. I think we should be looking for where does the cryptocurrency market balance itself out? At what price is fair for the people that are actually in cryptocurrency right now, the people that want to buy, the people that have and are selling because they are mining, what is like the fair price? And I'm going to guess that it's pretty close to the break-even point for mining profitability, if not below it. And I think that you look for that place where the ecosystem balances itself out, and that's the area you want to buy in. Good morning, IQ. I'm not so sure that we've gotten there yet, and the indicator is saying that we're overbought. And when you look at Mt. Gox, during the sell-off of Mt. Gox, it went to that overbought condition twice. So if we're saying we're at the first one, then it's not even halfway.
Alligator said still there but no impact so far, and ZF holds at highs, looks like a pullback to pivot. With, if, ZB going up it should be better.
Yeah.
Block buy.
Well, there's a block buy at 18. I feel like that block buy at 18 was like the bull snubbing the bear. This could get interesting because I don't know if you try and sell it twice and get screwed over, do you just walk away, or is this somebody that has business and isn't going to give up until it does what he wants? Well, if we had not tried taking the reversal, we would have made a couple of good ticks here. But I don't want to be involved when they're fighting like this. Can't we just all get along? We'll just all trend the same way all day. Wouldn't that be better, guys? Than fighting? Good morning, Marius. Did you see a turn back to a bull market anytime soon in Bitcoin? Right now, I'm not very positive on Bitcoin. Sorry, that's what we were just talking about. Now, equities markets, I really like what I'm seeing. I really think the equity markets should continue up, and that treasuries should fall down back to where we were, back to 120. But I think that there needs to be a lot of caution in there on that, because it seems like yesterday, yeah, he's talking about crypto markets. Well, I'll finish my thought anyways. Seems to me like yesterday there was a really big shift in market psychology yesterday, because before it was like Donald Trump's gonna spark a trade war and everything's gonna be awful, and then yesterday I was listening. I think it was Art Cashin was basically saying, oh, the market has gotten a hang of the art of the deal. Like that, like they're saying, oh, we understand what Donald Trump is doing now, and we think that he could actually do really well with all of these trade deals, and it's going to be really good for us. And I think that it's good that we're seeing that other side now, because the panic that we had before was just way unjustified. But it's hard to be to size up too much, because there's just so much more risk for news around here, you know? And just about anything could push us really strongly one way or another. And I think that the treasury market right now is reflecting that. We should not be where we are at, and yet they're buying right now. So, for whatever reason, the treasury market thinks that there's reason to continue to be cautious here. Now, it's a double-sided trade. There is definitely somebody sitting here saying, hey, we need to move down, and they've lost twice now. So I'm wondering if we get up to that 20, which was the last pivot. I'm wondering if we get up to that 20, if the bears come back in with a vengeance, or what. But anyways, on the cryptocurrency markets again, my indicator yesterday when we were at like 9,000 said 100, and I consider 100 to be overbought. Like when you look at when cryptocurrencies were like the beginning of last year, for instance, and it was a really good buy location, and yeah, we went up and we went down, but it was much more consistent compared to the just ridiculous buying crazes that we had later, right? So when you look at that period, my indicator never went over 100. Now, if you go back and you look at the Mt. Gox period, you saw many times where, even though we were overall in a downtrend, we hit the overbought and past that several times. So, I think that it being 100 here reminds me a lot of Mt. Gox. Well, yeah, so Jeffrey says we were at 8,100. You keep in mind that blockchain.info collects its data like in the middle of the night. So it was well, we can run it again, and I can give you the exact price that it calculated that at. because that is important to see, especially since the range is so narrow right now. So it was at 86.17 when it took that. So at 86.17, we're 101. And that puts us like the factor is 85, right? So if you do 85 times 100, you get the 85 number, which is where we're basically at. So if we go to 50, that's the bottom of the range, 42. So about 50%. And if we just say the low, divide by 85. So even if we broke a new low, we would still only be at 70. Now, the other thing that we have to consider is that we go to 150, 12. So there's still a possibility that we get up to 12. But that's why I was saying, like man, that how negative is that really? Because where is 1200? Huh? Yeah. We got up and my indicator is going to give crash imminent signal at exactly the level that everybody is looking at to get back to. It's no way. This is not a buy location here, I think. That's why, even though I'm holding my bag, and I'm so far, I have absolutely made the wrong decision, and I've lost about $150 off of it. I should have sold back when we were up at 1200, and the indicator was giving me close to 100 the first time. I absolutely should have done it. Or at the very least, I should have sold my Ethereum and Bitcoin cash. But yeah. What do you think about Ethereum? Is it going to make a full retracement back to 300? Oof. You know, I don't know. 400 there. Huh? I need to look at it on a daily chart. Where was we basing at? Yeah, 400 there, 400, and then 300. Very interesting. Well, I have to say, I remember when it was back here. You know, one of the things that I think is interesting, this is just my perspective and maybe I'm wrong, but I really felt like that there was not interest in the cryptocurrency market until here. Because here was the point where people that were in Ethereum just made bank. Anybody that was involved in the cryptocurrency market and that was enthusiastic about Ethereum and had some Ethereum and made an effing ton of money. And I feel like that when this came up, that was when the rest of the cryptocurrency market kind of perked up. And because Bitcoin was the big name, it started moving. And that's really what started it all. That was my perspective of things. That's the story in my head. I'm not saying it's true, but that's the story that went through in my head. And for this, we could say that this was the move, and that at that point Ethereum was priced in, and all of this was the bubble. And for us to come back to 400 is reasonable. Yes. Did Bitcoin move first? Well, let's look here. So if we move to Bitcoin, I mean, it looks like they actually kind of moved in tandem a little bit, didn't they? There was this move here in March, and here in Ethereum. When did it really take off? Maybe a little bit afterwards. Oh, you're talking even further. See, I wasn't even hearing about it before then, so I don't really care what happened before that. But I do think that Ethereum has been moved up by the crypto market in general. And there's going to be a lot of sell pressure because so many people mine it. Being the most mined coin is not necessarily a good thing. If all of the miners are just doing it to take profits. You know, that's why a lot of cryptocurrencies just hate ASIC miners so much, because then you get this big whale always selling and holding the market back. Of course, it's a good thing that a big player sees interest and potential. But, well, yeah, Ethereum pumped because of ICOs, that's true. I'd say so. I mean, there was like that initial move, and the ICOs kind of push it up, and then, but I feel like almost everything else was bubble. And the weird thing with Ethereum is, if you look at my indicator, my charts, if you go onto the Patreon, it's been depressed for quite a long time, and now the indicator is moving up. So something has happened. Something has dramatically decreased the amount of volume that we're seeing in Ethereum, and it was probably the case that there was something causing that volume artificially, and now it's gone. So with my method of looking at the cryptocurrency market and my valuation indicator, it's really hard to say where Ethereum is actually going, just because I've never seen anything do anything like this. You know, I've always said, well, it looks like Ethereum is crazy undervalued. But you know, when the thing came off, we were moving down. So there's obviously something going on there that is making my indicator not as useful in Ethereum. Yeah. Well, I think if we get to 400, you know, that would be a pretty good area for it to base. The question was, is it going to go back to 400? I think that's probably true. I think that it's probably fairly valued at 400. It might go lower, so I might want to wait until 300 to buy, but I think there's a good possibility that it'll do that. You know, you look at these other ones. Bitcoin Cash, you notice that Bitcoin Cash, you know, it was at 400 for the longest time. And then we had that first big move. This was the what was it, the fork, or that the fork wasn't going to happen? That's what it was. And then it moved up. And now notice that we're getting back to this price where it based at. So now is Bitcoin Cash going to come back down here? I'm not so sure that the Bitcoin Cash holders are going to give up here, because the events of the past like 2 weeks in cryptocurrencies, I'm actually seeing the Bitcoin Cash people getting more confident, believe it or not. So like this thing with the Lightning Network yesterday was very interesting, because the Bitcoin people were saying, oh, hey, look, our well, so let me explain what happened. And guy had a node, he had a Lightning node set up, and he had a problem, and so he closed the node. And if you like close the node and then try and recreate it with older data, then all of the other Lightning nodes say that it's invalid and take the money that was in the wallet. And so this guy, he had like $20 in the wallet, so it wasn't like it was a big deal or anything, but he lost that money. And some people were saying that it was a hack, but it sounds like that's no longer the case, that it was just that the guy screwed up. And so the Bitcoin guys are saying, well, hey, our penalty algorithm worked the way that it's supposed to. You need to move this and watch this now. Our penalty algorithm worked the way that it's supposed to. And the Bitcoin Cash people were pointing out, like, you know, well, this is a significant technical problem with Lightning Network that, like, if something happens, your connection is interrupted, etc., you have to do all of this backup stuff that the clients, as of yet, right now, aren't able to handle. And there's other problems with the distribution. And so the Bitcoin Cash people were actually quite happy about what happened yesterday. And it was interesting how you had two different groups of people saw at the same event with basically the same information. I mean, the headlines I thought were very, very biased and not accurate to what happened. But when you looked in the comments, people generally understood what happened. And they said the same things about what happened, but their take on what it was completely different. Okay, so now a lot of ICOs moved from Ethereum to EOS, maybe is a reason there. I am not so sure that ICOs is the place that I want to be right now. So, you know. Well, we're kind of getting to a spot where I'm tempted to short it again, but I think that we have to go much further for me to justify it. And I'd need to see a change in the level too, so maybe I buy it again, I don't know. They did stop at that pivot, didn't they? I'm just saying, like, one of the pieces of news that has been driving the cryptocurrency market down past, I want to say, like 3 weeks, has been all of the major tech companies banning advertising of cryptocurrencies and ICOs. And then there's the SEC getting involved. Well, ICOs will make a comeback once people stop worrying about the SEC and start doing them anonymously again. I think that I don't want to be in ICOs until the situation changes. And the thing with ICOs is that I haven't really seen one that, well, of course there's ones where they used it as stock, you know, like the overstock.com one. But you're gonna, you know, yeah. I bought the ETH ICO. Well, there you go. But the only smart contract that I've seen that actually seems to do something like interesting and useful to the ecosystem was DAI and Maker. That has actually turned out to create a stable cryptocurrency. So that's one. But what if the 30K is just a carrot in front of us because of the 20K happened, and the 20K is never going to happen again, and this is just a downfall? Well, I think that any predictions on, you know, Bitcoin is going to reach 30,000 or...
IQ said any treasury trades yet?
No. is weird. Boom. Look at the change in cumulative delta. I don't know.
IQ said I.imager.com.
Yeah. Crypto Kitty's got 12 million invested. That's interesting. Yeah, but I want to know what it was. What is it that came off? Something changed on the network. Something is not making as many transactions, and I don't know if it's like there was just a blender out there that got turned off, or if a big service like CryptoKitties made a change and aren't transacting as much, or what. But something weird is happening on the Ethereum network, and I don't understand what it is.
IQ.imager.com.
Yeah. Normally that 10K would have been my place to get in long. But the way that it happened scares me. So let's reset the DOM here. Set the line here. Now, interestingly enough, equities have actually been fading a little bit. And on that whole move up in Treasuries, equities was moving down. And the same here. Oh, interesting.
IQ said I.imager.com. IQ said, are you sure?
So I'm just noticing here. Okay. Notice
IQ
that
said
at the highs.
I.imager.com.
Notice that at the highs, but notice here underneath of us how the liquidity changed when we made that high. That kind of weird. I don't know if that means anything. And here in CB, maybe I should zoom it out a little bit. Here in ZB, we had a target show up down here, and we're like right at it. Yeah. And I mean, there may have been a switch in momentum. So that block buy was at 17, wasn't it? Yeah. And 18 was where the, sorry, 18 was where there was the buy, and 17 was where there was the sell. So if we see the sell again, I think we should go with it.
IQ said 3 amigos LOL, they run together more than 80% of the time. Tucker said why watch the 6E instead of the UB/ZB/ZN/ZF? Tucker said seems like mental clutter imo.
Okay. So now they're playing the game here.
IQ said tells you more about if the move is due to trade war fears or something else. Man, you've covered the spread LOL.
I've covered the spread. What? I don't really see anything happening in the spread today. Well, I think that back there was a little bit of steepening in the knob. A little bit of flattening in the FIT, although that one's mostly noise. So, spread is interesting too. It's all about context, guys. The fact that we're seeing kind of a fight here at 18. Where you should take the trade, I think, becomes much more clear once we figure out what is causing the move, right? Like if it's just for technical reasons, like if it was just for technical reasons that we wanted to come up to the last pivot, then I really don't think that a long makes sense here. Not until they break the 20 again. Or you know, some other correlation comes up that ends up being more significant. If it's trade war fears and this 6E starts going up again, then you want to be long. And if 6E continues to give it up, then it's a really, really, really good short. So it doesn't quite give us enough information to really know which way it's going, but now we know the context. If the level 2 gives us some sort of a signal, I think based on the context we can kind of interpret what it's telling us better. The spread is interesting though. The knob spread is high right now. I mean, if you wanted to put a flattener on, this would be a pretty good spot. Yeah, Jeffrey says the only direction to trade is short on Treasuries unless we break that high of yesterday at 120.20 half. Well, so that's only if you're considering the regular session though, right? The regular session as high was like 120.24. We started the session at the highs, but this 120.20 half was a significant pivot and regular session high, and we did not get past it, did we? And there's just been some significant volume trading at 18. Well, I don't know. If it breaks that, I can't really say what it's doing. It depends on why. Right? You just got to remember that the market's expectations
Like
are going to destroy any
on
kind
your
of
correlation play with 6E? No BS talks of not trying to find market correlations and not sure what to think now. Tucker said the only things I pay attention to are, 1. Are all four usual suspects doing similar things? 2. Are equities crazy, and therefore informing Treasury price action?
So if you can't read that up in the corner, what I was typing there, I was explaining to them that since it appears that the highest correlation with treasuries right now is with equities and the 6E, since the 6E, since the...
IQ said too much thinking what happened to price observation. Mike B said I see. Thanks for explaining that.
Since Europe benefits the most from a U.S. trade war, since all of those, Asian partners would start trading with Europe instead of the United States, the euro has been moving up. So that's the thing that we're looking at as a tell for how much fear there is in the market over trade wars.
Tucker said geopolitics aren't going to influence the next 3 ticks.
They could. I mean, it depends on if the person that buys the next 3 ticks is buying because of geopolitics or for some other reason.
Alligator said I like Seth's logic. Alligator said it's not the next 3 ticks, it's about the average of the next 100 of 3 ticks. IQ said logic and trading is 2 different animals. Alligator said biased by context. Tucker said, I think that's thinking way too far into it.
Okay, they're hitting that 17.
Tucker said, and I don't think there's an edge in running through 100 different game theories of what China/US are going to do.
Okay.
IQ said, what is price doing now? And what you gonna do about it? The rest is mind games.
Okay. They're still not, they're fighting it here.
IQ said, you are paid to react, not to think.
No, they don't seem to think that understanding the market as a whole really helps you, huh? I think that you need to look at all of the different sectors of the market and understand why they're moving the way that they are and why certain things are correlated with
Tucker
other
said,
certain
I
things.
didn't trade February 6th because the market was weird. It wasn't the ZN I know, so I didn't risk my account.
Yeah, and I made like, yeah. I don't understand what you're saying, Tucker. But that's the whole point, right? Is if you didn't understand what the market context was that day, then it was just like, well, this doesn't make any sense. What this is craziness, and I don't want to be involved in it. And maybe
Tucker
that's
said,
what's happening right now.
But IMO too much event risk.
And maybe that's what's happening right now. Is there is something going on here that I don't understand, and that's why this move up doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, right? But if you know the context and you're right, and you see the order flow moving in tandem with your understanding of what markets are doing, you get a much better idea of where things can go, right? So that day it was a market panic because they were afraid of rising rates, and equities were basically experiencing a flash crash. Well, you can actually trade a flash crash with pretty low risk there because it's moving so it's
IQ
moving
said, you
so
sound
one
like
direction.
a Fox commenter when you want to do MKT analysis, Seth, LOL.
The market is moving so one directionally that you can basically just take one trade, and then as soon as you see any absorption, get out. And on that particular day, it just happened that I got like 16 ticks off of that move. And it's the same on this one. Like if this continues and people are still afraid of trade fears and stuff, I feel like the upside is limited. Like
Tucker said, hang on, no name calling like that. Let's keep it focused on markets and order flow.
So you could have taken a buy there on the hopes that it breaks a new high. I'm not even seeing one tickers in here. So what are you guys saying on YouTube? No, I don't really feel like, so Jeffrey's saying, you know, if you just trade the chart, it's not confusing. Well, I don't really see a huge edge in the chart right now. This is like, okay, break of the highs, hit the big number, came back. Now there's 20. Are they going to break through 20 or not? I mean, like seriously, it's 50-50. Yeah, so IHT is like, if everything is manipulated, then what's the point of trading? Well, I think the thing is that you can manipulate markets for sure in the short term.
Alligator said, convincing pullback to pivot.
But you cannot fake an order. People might misinterpret an order. You might see a couple of buys that are actually not, you know, the one way or the other, but in the aggregate over time, that's where your edge is at. Is following the volume. Yep. And then you can see it, like what Jeffrey says, sometimes you can see what the sharks are doing and make decisions off of them. I mean, we can see what they're doing right now, right? A shark sold at 16, he sold at 17, and then a shark bought at 18. And look at the cumulative delta here. Okay. There are single traders out there that could absorb 10K orders, right? And we have a range here of 10,000 orders. So a whale could come in and move the market all the way to the other side just like that if they wanted to. I actually saw a bit of that. I mean, when we came back to that 18, there really was a fight there in that area, but it looks like the buyer won. I don't know if he's going to break a new high here, though.
Alligator said BTW it's great to listen/read someone stepping back from order flows flood THX Seth.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect everybody to go like that, because I think sometimes you have to say, I'm not good at following that, or it's too much information for me. But honestly, like right now, does anybody in the channel really feel like the order flow is giving us a screaming signal? Because I just don't see it. Okay, well, here they are stepping up to the 20. Nope. Nobody even traded it. Marius, how do you
Tucker said I
see?
just sweated more than a fat kid in gym class trying to get paid on one damn tick. Long 185s and just eked out 190s.
He went in at 185. Well, yeah, that would have been a stressful place to have gotten in at, because there was a bit of balance there. I really can't predict if it's going to go through. I tell you, here's one thing I've noticed. So is it just me, or the past couple of weeks, if we go and we like touch a number, they go and they
Tucker
break a
said
new high.
ES kept on backing up higher and I was cursing at my screen.
I think we could buy here. Something's
Tucker
happening.
said I'm out for the day, but keep an eye on 12200S.
Not filled.
7.5k offered there and has been since the open, I think. Question of the day is, what does that seller do?
Okay, well, that's unfortunate. Sucks. Yeah, anyways, I think that for the cryptocurrencies over the summer, I think that you're going to see individual names that will certainly do interesting things and might make money, but it's really hard to predict which ones they're going to be. But
IQ said the Amigos heading higher.
I don't see a huge shift in the overall market in the near future.
Mike B said I can see both sides to this correlation thing. Thanks for this interesting talk, guys. I have for now concluded this needs further investigation, grinning face.
Well, this is hard because I'm pretty sure that it's going to go to 22, but it's really hard to get a safe entry location here on a move like this.
Alligator said 220 looks probable now. ZB helps us not sure about ZF target seems they like 080.
That was kind of funny how I was like, well, I don't see it telling me anything. I don't know what's going to happen. And then what I noticed was the 6E made it past its last pivot. And then all of a sudden, the level 2 over here was going crazy. And that was when I knew. And I could have gotten filled where I was at.
Sell.
Oh, jeez.
IQ said there's trading outfits that will sell you the correlation idea of the Euro vs Amigos. E.g. Woody's Vince Virgil Think or Swim etc., Ninja 3RD Party add-ons grimacing face.
Well, there's that market sell, and I don't like how I don't like how I just got filled. No thanks. Okay, well, it's good that we're seeing absorption right there. But I'm just going to take the one tick. I'm just going to take the break even because I don't like the way that I got filled.
Jack said consumer confidence in 3 minutes.
Okay.
Alligator said IMO depends on ES, seems, we were in risk off, but looks like a gap filled. If ES recovers more it's all the way down to pivot 165, waiting for Dayton now.
Jeffrey's saying equities look good. They filled the overnight gap. Yeah, that was up. The thing I was just that Alligator was just noticing, and I was looking at and going, "Well, yeah," was that they basically sold to yesterday's close, and now they seem to be bouncing. Yeah, I don't know. Like the thing is yeah, last year in Bitcoin, March was when there was a really big buy there, and we're not getting it. I really don't see what is going to be our impetus to buy. Smash Spit says I would say charts are big advertisements to lure you into bad trades. Well, they can't. I think that we tend to read too much into charts for sure. The charts do tell you things, but I feel like that the only thing that is truly predictive is volume. Everything else is just context. The chart is context, and sometimes we say, well, we made a higher pivot there. It might not necessarily mean anything. Okay, so there was a little bit of a pull there. Let's see what the number is. They're expecting 131. We got 127.7. Someone's buying it. If I can get filled here, I might just get out at 19.5 since it looks like that's such an easy place to get filled. What would be your bet on how much Bitcoin would go up in Ethereum this year? Well, the furthest I can predict is 12. Based on current numbers, I don't see how it can get higher than 12. Maybe we go through a bit of market and that changes later in the year, but at the moment, that's the furthest that my model can really see. And I really can't make a prediction for like highs. But when it crashes imminent, I'll let you know. I was really hoping that in the last run that we were going to get the crash imminent signal, and I was going to be like, it's going to happen! The end is coming! And advertise it everywhere and then be called a genius, but it never happened. Okay, so that trade worked really well. I think I might be able to do it again here. I don't know.
Alligator said worse than EXP, but IMO won't be enough for a breakup. Equities look strong.
Yeah, based on current market, the upper end is 12 and the lower end is 4. 4.5.
IQ said in American football quarterback equals price your defender. Who will you be watching, receiver or quarterback? My 2 cents for the day.
Jeffrey is like, just short it and walk away. I really feel like I'm probably sounding like crazy now because it definitely hasn't done the thing that I'm saying like it could do, right? But I still feel like that this is gonna unwind. Yep, Dan, that's exactly it. If it gets to 12K, everybody that's holding right now is gonna sell. In fact, I think that what you're gonna see is they get to 12, and there's going to be just like it was on the downside. There's going to be like this super crazy impulsive move up because the bag holders won't have the volume to get out, and so they're going to have to bust people out at 12K. They're going to have there's going to be a head fake there. You know what I mean? Yeah, equities filled the gap and they're going up now. Yeah, so understand what I'm saying here for treasuries is I feel like we should move down to the VWAP and possibly the overnight low. That's what I feel should be happening, and that by next week we will be at 120 even. That's what I feel like is happening. Well, I pulled that one ticker there at 19.5, and I'm feeling pretty proud of myself because it worked exactly the way that I thought it would. And I was able to get out before it started going. Okay, but here's the thing. If it does what I say it's going to, there's going to be plenty of time for us to realize that the momentum is shifted and take it. And I really feel like that this 18 to 17 area is still kind of the control point where people are going to fight, and that's not really where I want to get in. I could have gotten in at 19.5, but at that moment the probability wasn't high enough for me to be taking a reversal. For sure, this is your entry for a swing trade on the Treasuries. It could be. So if I saw a shoot through 12K in Bitcoin, I would be getting like super cautious until it got above like 13 to 15, because I think that price level is just ripe for manipulation. And what I would do is I would buy the bit. If I was a whale, right, I would be, buying down here at the low, taking a little bit off at 12, and then trying to, and the reason I would take a little bit off at 12 is because I would need to be able to load up. So we would hit 12, it would come back a little bit, and that's where I would load up. Not load up to like get a big position, because I already had a big position, but load up like to push it through 12, right? So then I would be buying there to push it through 12 and trying to cause some sort of a stop run, and then as the stop run happens, that's where I would exit. That's how I would do it. So I feel like if you see a really strong buy through 12K, of course I don't know what the probability is that you go through 12K and it continues or it goes down, but there is a possibility that it head fakes there. So I'd be careful what you see. I would just be really skeptical about what I'm seeing in the market if that happens. Just like we were here at 12 or at 20, right? I mean, it broke a new high pretty convincingly. Let's hope it's a whale listening now. Sometimes I wonder, like, I'll say something, and then later on in the day, I'll see something happen in the crypto markets, and I'm like, is somebody watching my podcast? And is Sludge actually a whale and isn't telling us? Like, sometimes it just seems like, well, that was interesting. Did something just happen? Because that was way too strong of a buy. Did I not get filled? The heck? Okay, so I got two there. Doing pretty good on the win tickers. Yeah? Or my small ones. Emergency law sounds a little dramatic. What are they talking about? Use U.S. looking to protect U.S. tech sectors with new curbs on China. That's the news. That's it right there. Let me give you guys the link in Discord. Well, so should we give Jeffrey a ton of shit here now that it did that it did that?
Alligator said didn't see it. THX.
I suppose that if it's like a swing trade, his trade could still be considered like in play. Wow, you've been in it for a long time. I mean, but that's the thing, right? Is this is why I say volume is the only thing that's predictive, because when something happens, like here's how I look at the chart, okay? We have a piece of news comes out. It creates a move. Once that happens, it's basically running off of technicals at that point, right? People buy, and based on how many people buy and the period of time it went over to this move, and then after that it kind of will start trading on technicals and daily basis and things like that. And then when the next piece of news comes in, the market then reevaluates what's going on. So the chart can be useful, but like the place where the chart is going to be wrong is when an unexpected piece of news comes out, right? Like that. I mean, really was starting to look.
Block buy.
Okay, so we need to take this again if we can get filled here. I was starting to look negative, and I was, Jeffrey was kind of saying what I had been thinking in my head all morning anyways, but I was like, well, we're not quite to the spot where I see it, and I'm not seeing the move. And then all of a sudden I saw it move up 3 ticks on really strong volume. At that point, I knew that there was probably some news moving us, and my whole view that I had just gets thrown out the window at that point. So now I think we could break 24. Ooh, maybe not. Let's just take the easy one. Okay, well, we dug ourselves out of that hole, so there's that. IHT on a long enough time frame, I'm sure he'll be correct. Yeah, I agree. I mean, here's my prediction is we will see 120 sometime this year. I don't know how long this is going to last, but I think we will see 120 sometime this year. Let's say that. Nah. I mean, so this comes out, the whole thing is flipped around. The E-mini, I think, should start moving into yesterday's range, and they are just barely getting there. Once we get to like 26.40 is when it starts to really get like, okay, ugly. And this is throwing a lot of fake out kind of stuff here in ZN. Daily bull engulfing is strong. Would not be trading against that. I would not be trading against news that moves the market like that. So I may scratch this or ditch this, but I'm not going to short this, no way. Not unless we got below the view up now at this point. Yes, my bird always yells like that. As soon as people are up. That's his happy noise, though. That's like, hello, we're birds and it's morning and we're all awake. And I'm screaming so that the whole flock knows where I am. Give him a cracker. Well, they give him peanuts is what he likes. Crackers aren't the best, most healthy thing for birds, though he likes them. I need more water. Okay, didn't like that tick down. All right, catch you later, Jeffrey. Probably. I think there's a really good chance. Oh, jeez. Come on. I think there's a really good chance that we bust up and we trade above 24, and then tomorrow I'm feeling the same way, like this should be going down. So they hit a block buy at that 220, and it did not bust it. So how many times are they going to have to come up to do it for it to go through? Based on the news, I mean, here's the thing. Yesterday, there was not any like news, trade war news, and we were moving up. Now we have a piece of news, another piece of news, and then this one is big because this is like, you know, this is gonna hurt Apple. Okay, I think that we should move up more. That's the context. You know, this isn't the first time I've had this trade happen to me, and it's always really frustrating because I'll be trying to catch a good spot and it keeps running away from me, and then I'll be like, oh nope, I don't want it, and just take the quick profit like it did, and eventually I go, okay, I just have to click in and hold it and it'll be paid. And then as soon as you do that, it feels like it's not going, you know, like it keeps going down to 9 and they're not buying through it. Here, what's going on? And if I were to get out at 21, that would be like exactly the moment that it would bust a new high. So it's kind of like you just have to click in and sit through the pain a little bit and just sit on your hands for it to do its thing, and then you get a decent amount of profit, and then you can pick your spot a little bit better. See, like that's hitting 4K, trading into that 21.5. It looks like super bad right now. And yet, does not change my view. Stock plunged into red after U.S. plans emergency curbs on Chinese investments. Bloomberg reports that the Trump administration is considering a crackdown on Chinese investments in technologies in the U.S. considered sensitive by employing a law reserved for national emergencies, among other options. The investment curbs would be the latest step in Donald Trump's plan to punish China for what the U.S. sees as violations of American intellectual property rights. Okay, so that we take down, that sucks. Definitely got fooled there into buying the high. And here they're going to stop me out at the low. Okay. Sure. Okay. So ZF is kind of playing games here. 70. Zoom in here. It's played some games here before at 70.
Alligator said seems to me ES is going to recover, so playing of WAP reversion, needs to break down 2120 for confirmation.
It's so interesting that they post this news today. It almost feels like he does something. The market freaks out. Market realizes it's not so bad, and so he has to up the ante. Yeah, because like if the market decides that it's not a big deal, then why would why would China think it's a big deal? It's almost like for him to get his negotiating position, the market has to do poorly or something. Don't like this balance area at 21. Not that it means anything, but I just want it to bust back up. Come on. I need to reset this so that I can keep track of this ZF better. So they need to build up at 70. Lots of games here. The E-mini looks like it's pointing down. I mean, it's hard to say, but when you look at it on a 30-minute chart, it looks really bad. The E-mini. We're going back and forth here on E-mini correlation, like tick by tick. My stop is at like the worst spot too.
Alligator said, my thought, this news not so much important, too many fuzzy details, and market used to it, and after yesterday seems market want to go higher, so it shall go up, but timing is always.
Okay. Hmm. I want to see it leave this area. Okay. I'm not so sure all those people selling are people they want to.
Alligator said true but now sold at yes. Close once more, my scenario doesn't look good.
If they get back up to that 20. This 220, that's not, I don't think it's going to hold. There's too much volume there for a high of the day. You're going to start getting stops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it probably pops up this next. So I feel pretty confident here. I'm almost tempted to put a second contract on, but that would break my. I have the margin to do it, but that would be breaking the rules. So we're not going to do that. I'm sure tempted though. Just need the E-mini to go here. Come on. Come on. No, don't like that. They haven't actually ticked 11 yet. Okay, good uptick. We're getting a lot of, it's good uptick, but then the hold afterwards isn't super great. That's what I'm seeing right now. And then it ticks back down. Yeah. Okay, that's a little bit better. Well, man, the E-mini doesn't want to give up here, does it?
Alligator said no damage so far now. T-bills auction and 5Y later, going to stop there if it doesn't develop lower. Alligator said now a lot of stock traders underwater, but not enough yet.
Mm.
Alligator said es vwap.
Gosh dang it. Okay. Well, I'm feeling a little better about it here. You're falling below that point of control. These games.
Alligator said seems so, they should buy 6061.
I'm still mining the garlic coin, believe it or not. I want to get to at least 1,000 garlic coins. I think I'm at like almost 500 now. Let's look. 473. So another day or so. I know, right? It's probably a waste, but we'll see. Maybe it turns out someday. Do I still believe in it? Well, not. I mean, I don't know. The thing is that the garlic coin project has definitely not proceeded anywhere close to how I expected it would. I did expect, a sell at the beginning, But this whole like algorithm change and all that nonsense is like, whoa. Just, it's really quite the mess over there. But the theory is still, as a meme coin, if it became as popular as other meme coins, it would be worth about $70 to $100 a coin. I think it's still possible. It would have to happen in a cryptocurrency bull market, though, for sure. There was a day there where it was trading at like sub pennies. But it doesn't look like there's actually that much trade volume in it, so I kind of tried not to read too much into that. Okay.
Block by.
Good deal. That did not quite do what I thought. So they block bought at 20. They did trade 20 half, but only 4 contracts. And they ticked back down. And the E-mini is kind of at the higher end of its range right now. I don't know. Don't like it. Got to ask, do you find yourself in the position of asking yourself, is this it? It was a run up, or is this just the beginning of cryptos? Well, yeah, like, is cryptocurrencies going to make a new all-time high in our lifetime? Don't know. I think it could. In fact, I think it's very likely that it could. But I don't have enough of an edge to really say that confidently enough to tell you guys, like, because I don't want somebody going off trading off of it or something. Seth thinks that we're going to make an all-time high. We should buy it here. No. Just because it was 20K. Well, I don't think that the number matters. I think that the question is, are there more people in the future that will be willing to buy cryptocurrencies than there are today? Or to buy more cryptocurrencies than there are today? And I think maybe. I think that this last rally was kind of cut short by some of Core's short-sightedness in not increasing the block size. So I think that if we had another bull run and those problems were solved, that we would go higher. Because there would be more people to convince. Because there wouldn't be people like me going out there saying, this is kind of dangerous because we can't handle that many transactions. Right? And without me there, instead I'm turning around and I'm saying to everybody else, you buy it, probably could go up. Yet there's more people. So definitely think that we could see that new high end of Bitcoin. But for the time being, I just don't see that bull run happening anytime soon. In fact, even we were talking about that 1200. I think we're more likely to see 4500 this year than we are 1200. I hate to say. Okay, now they're going to start pushing it here.
Underscore NE0 said how much of the trades on ES/SPY influence the actual index?
Ripple just said they are capable to make more than 15,000
Underscore
transactions per
NE0
second,
said cause and
more than
effect I
Visa.
mean.
Well, I don't know about Ripple. Maybe Ripple is a good investment. I tend to think, though,
Underscore
that
NE0 said individual stocks vs the index ETF/futures.
I
Alligator said okay, prefer to flat IMO balance is higher, to slow the way down.
maybe more action in the afternoon. So Alligator is giving up here. I think that the general community's interest is going to be more in decentralized things, though. I think that's kind of a problem with the Lightning Network, is that it just seems really complicated to me, and I don't know where the clients are going to get to, but the place that they are right now, there's not going to be a lot of people opening Lightning channels. And does that actually make the network more centralized? And I feel like that there's just too many people out there that get turned off from really supporting something when it becomes centralized. It's just like this philosophical thing. It's kind of, maybe it's a little silly, but it seems really strong. So I'm not surprised that 20 has become a balance area, and if we were taking a trade, I think I would be much more comfortable at 20 than I am here. And there's another buy run in equities. And we're coming up on my time. Well, I'm really disappointed today, guys, because there was some opportunity for me. I bought at 19. Oh, well, I guess it wasn't so bad. I had just held that one and then quit. And then this one shouldn't have happened. This one, yeah, I don't know. That one was, I'm not going to say it was against the rules or shouldn't have happened, but it was my choice, and it was the wrong choice. It was a bad choice. So there's no getting around that. Not necessarily against the rules, but bad trade. And then this one was a little foolish. And then these ones probably could have just all been one trade. Well, we're getting, we got just had like a crazy head fake there in equities. They came right back up to that VWAP and just bounced right off of it. You know what? We need to post our charts, so let's do that before we close this. Okay, good. Yes, I like that. Oh dear. Okay, didn't actually give me all of my charts today. That sucks. Good deal. Okay, I got to step away for a second. I'm just gonna let this ride. I'm just gonna let it. Oh man, it's gone nowhere. Is my wife coming back? Okay. Well, I'm supposed to leave now, and I really don't want to let this go. gonna put my shoes on and see if it's going. And if it's not going, wish my wife was here. I could just have her watch it. There it's going. Well, it really went there. Why did they not move in Treasuries, I wonder? So was there another piece of news there? Because that was pretty wild. Okay, so I can definitely step away for a moment though. Well, the E-mini sure is all over the place here, isn't it? I'm not so sure if it's going to do what we want. I mean, we really need it to be falling apart here if we're going to get out anywhere up to 24 anytime soon. So I'm thinking I might just take the one. Okay. We'll break even. So I guess that's not so bad for today. Anyways, wish I could chat more, but I really do got to go. So I'll talk to you guys later.